So, what are your thoughts on the preservation of Black family traditions in today's society?
In today's society, I don't really think that we're passing down traditions to the newer generation. Like we grew up with us getting together, having like family gatherings and barbecues, and we're not really doing that. I feel like our kids, we see each other maybe once a year, and I feel like our kids are not getting the same, what is it? The same tradition, family value. Like, I mean, I can instill in my household within our family, like, this is our family and we're supposed to stick together. But when it comes to what's going on outside my household, like, I feel like I wish that we were as close as we used to be. And I feel like they're missing out on a lot. It's like family just isn't as important as it used to be, and I don't know why. I don't know what happened that it wasn't important for us to get together as much. I mean, I think it was just kind of gradual, and it just happened, and we looked up and it wasn't happening, and nobody did anything to fix it, and this is just where we are. Well, we spend a lot of time with our kids. Like, we make it a priority to, on the weekends, when they have activities, we all try to participate. If they got basketball games or soccer games, we make each other go. Like, Nevaeh's like, I don't want to go watch my brother play basketball. It's boring. But you go in anyway. You there to support, because he's there watching you play soccer. Not because he want to see you play, for the support. So we're teaching them that it's important to have, each other's backs and be supportive. And try to include my family in things that I'm doing for my kids, like if we having birthday parties or, anything that I feel like that they should come and be a part of. It's hard, especially when you have two different, like they have both their parents in the household. So they only see my family. They may see their dad's family maybe once a year because they're so far away. When you ask them, okay, about grandma, the first thing that comes to their mind is my mom. And they're like, wait, which grandma? Because they don't talk to his mom but maybe once a week.
Yeah.
It's different because I didn't grow up in a household where there was two parents, so I didn't know what that looked like. And I'm still trying to, I'm still trying to show my kids what a family dynamic looks like, because it's still a learning experience even for myself. I don't always know what I'm doing in the middle of what's going on, and it's just because it wasn't something that was a model for me. And I think in a lot of Black families, I don't know that many people that have both parents, that grew up in their household with both parents. And I've learned through having my kids that it's kind of an important thing for them to have both parents in their lives. It kind of molds who they're supposed to be. When there's somebody missing from the dynamic of them growing up, not to say that they're not going to turn out to be, good people, but it's like a piece of them that's not fully there. And I always said that I always wanted to give my kids something that I didn't have. Mm-hmm. Even if I'm not always knowing how to show that to them, because we're not a perfect family. But, we're still figuring it out.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I think The technical era of life has changed more the dynamics of the family. New era, new modern technology, telephones, cell phones, those kind of things. Whereas they have a positive influence and the family can be scattered and still reach out to each other, it takes away a personal touch. And it's harder to pass down traditions of families when they're scattered away. But I think as the older generation passes away, if you haven't already built a foundation, then it's harder to keep the generations going. So I do think the dynamics is changing. I haven't quite figured out if it's for the better or for the worse yet. I think it's a little of both. I think it's good and bad. Well, I think it's always important for the older generation to teach individually as well as group, but definitely their children. Being grandparent, you want to try to instill and pass some things on to your children, but then see them pass to the grandchildren as well. It's kind of hard because when an older generation gets a little tired, then they are not as active in things as they used to be, and then that's not good for the younger generation. But I think the only way to bring a family together is to always keep them together, support each other through things. Even if it's not happening in your household, then you support what's happening in the next person's household, because that's what makes a difference in building a family. And as kids grow up together, realizing that they've always been together, always been supporting each other, then they pass that to the next generation. There's been a lot of loss in my family, in this family, and my generation has not really dealt with the losses well, and I think a lot of my generation is mourning and still in such a way that they just really, have a hard time keeping it together, and so it makes it harder for them. And then a lot of them are struggling financially, although family is not about money. But when people are financially stressed out, it makes it harder for them to think about outside stuff. Mm-hmm. We went to family gatherings, we had family cookouts, we had family reunions, we had all of these things. Somebody has to initiate. But when you're looking at a whole generation of people that are stressed out emotionally, mourning mentally, and probably struggling really bad financially, then to them it's like they're just going day to day, and it's pretty hard for them to try to keep the traditions of let's have this family gathering, because it does take a financial obligation as well to do these type of family events. So I miss the fact that we don't do them, but then people get busy. I'm guilty too, because then people are also trying to reach certain standards of goals in your life, and you kind of have to put some things to the side because those goals you're reaching for are very demanding of your time, and so then you're not really having the time to put into what you may normally want to do. So there's a lot of dynamics that's been affecting just surviving today, affecting the family life. Pretty much together all the time. Either we were at a gathering, if anybody had a birthday, we were all there. If there was any holiday, we were together. I think I noticed the family revolves around the grandparents, and since I didn't have two, it was the grandmother. That's the dynamics, because all the kids and all the grandkids come around to this one parent. So she's the glue. It's where the whole family gathers around that grandparent, and just being in the house together for us we pretty much lived in the house together. So we were just always used to being together. We slept in the same beds. We, you know, rolled up and down the stairs together, got in trouble when parents weren't looking together, things like that. So, I mean, as we're older, we don't, I think when our kids were younger, we were better at keeping them coming together. But as everybody got older, I think, like I said, it was the dynamics of death, and it was the dynamics of just really having a hard time surviving in today's society for some folks that made that more difficult. So our kids have not had the luxury of being with each other as often as we had. For us, it was definitely my grandmother, because everybody, you know, if you're the parent and you have 10 children, then you've got 10 kids coming to this center room for that one person. But with them come their offsprings and their offsprings, and if you look at it, it's based around that person. Sometimes when that grandparent dies, the foundation of that family starts to fall apart.